Welcome everyone. Welcome to my hobby home. My name is Cathy. Thank you for joining me today. I am working on my Fat Quarter Shops flowering for October. This is What's Up Buttercup. So, what's up Buttercup? How's your day going? Thank y'all for joining me today. I am going, as I said, I'm going to be sewing this upfront pointers. If you have to mark your fabrics, you have two fabrics to mark with this block, the A and the G fabric. If you need to mark it, go ahead and get all of them marked. I thought about that and I was like, let me make sure that I don't have anything that I need to mark, and lo and behold, I had to. Now, this is block 7 of the Flowering Quilt Along, and we are just going to get on into it. Another pointer or tip for Fat Quarter Shop sew-alongs, if you see something that says make 4, like the half square triangles in that first step, I used to confuse it all the time and try to use 4 of the fabrics. For half square triangles, you only use 2 because you're making 2 half square triangles out of each fabric. Most of y'all know that. But that's a pointer if you're new and did not know that. So I have already picked out my fabric. It is all the same exact fabric that I used last month. I'm putting my right sides together here so I can go ahead and start stitching. I do stitch on the inner side of the 2 lines that I mark on my fabric. So technically what I can do is stick the edge of my foot on my marked line, and that gives me a scant 1/4 inch. Now I put the edge of my foot on the outside edge, the right edge of, I'm losing my train of thought, y'all. I stick it on the outside edge of my marked line. I'm sorry. I will chit-chat and tell you a little bit of why my brain is so scattered here lately. And some of y'all already know this and some don't, but I will share the information. But anyway, I put my presser foot just on the outside of it, which helps me stitch just on the inside of it. I am using the 37D foot. That is the 1/8 and 1/4. I don't know what the actual foot is called, but it's an 1/8 and 1/4 foot. You can do an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/4 of an inch. And I'm just turning these around and going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, of course, after I sew these, Fat Quarter Shop does give you what your measurements should be of your squares. I do trim down. That is one of the reasons why I do that extra on the inside, is just in case. Just in case. Sometimes you need to use a scant 1/4 and sometimes you don't. But I have found, because nothing's going on with that fabric to the left of your mark line or your stitch line when you're sewing it. I mean, that's just your seam allowance. And how I see it, if my seam allowance is a little bit less than a 1/4 of an inch, as long as it's not going into the danger zone of, you know, raveling apart, which it's not. I always have pretty close to a 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to trim these apart, but I'm always pretty good on that, and so I don't worry about it. But you know, you may not have a full 1/4 inch once you trim it apart. And how I trim, I just lay my marking tool on that stitch line, or, you know, I may do it on my stitch line or my marked line, and cut it from corner to corner. And that gives me 2 there. And I will have to press these in just a moment because I will have to use them. I'm going to also go ahead and make my second set of squares. And I have to make 8 half square triangles on it. So, and let's see, does it show? And it shows on this one to be pressing it to your print. And the next one shows pressing it open. I'm not going to do that. So this one we're making 8. So I'm getting my 4 pieces of fabric. And then my 4 of my red. And I just lay my red face up. So guys, my little chit chat about why my brain is so scrambled here lately. I'll give you a little background. I am a diabetic. I have been since I had the big C. And because that damaged a lot of things. So I've been, you know, my doctor and I have been trying to get my blood sugar leveled out. Well, was it last year? Last year. I quit going to the doctor I was going to because of insurance. My insurance would not pay for them to do blood work in office. It had to go to a lab. I think I mentioned that on another one. Well, here lately, I have been extremely exhausted. And y'all know, I always say I come in from work and I sit in my chair and I take a nap. Well, that exhaustion has gotten even worse. I can be at work and working, and all of a sudden I wake up and didn't even know I fell asleep. So this morning I went back to the doctor yesterday, and they were going to have to give me an order to go to another town to go get my blood work done. Well, I don't have that kind of time. I have too many things to do. I've got to sew. And, well, I don't have to sew. I prefer to sew. I have things I want to get done. So I called around. I called my insurance company and asked, you know, where I could go that could do it in-house. And the lady actually told me, she's like, well, you've met your deductible, so they can do it anywhere. I went into my doctor this morning that I used to go to. I went back to her because I just felt like she was more thorough. But I went to her this morning and they're running everything. I told them I wanted everything done. If it can be tested through a blood test, let's check it. You know, thyroid, parathyroid, kidney, liver, the whole 9. All the things. Hormone panel even. And so when I went in there, they pulled my A1C, which I haven't had my A1C pulled in a year or more. And she came back and she was like, yeah, we've got to do something. Well, I had gotten my A1C down to 5.1. That's really good, you know. And that was from like a 7.5 or something like that. 7.1, 7.5, somewhere in there. And she came back and told me what my A1C was. Well, it scared me. Because my A1C has never been that high. Never. So, yes, it scared me. And I really want to and need to take care of it. Okay, I'm sitting here fixing to start trimming. I haven't done the second side. See, that's what I'm talking about. My brain is not connecting the dots right now. And I think it is from, I don't know what they call it. I call it sugar poisoning. Because my body is technically it's not processing the sugar the way it should. So it's affecting my body and how things function. And, you know, like I said, I've gotten really laxed with what I eat and drink instead of just water. When we go out to eat or something, I get a half and half tea, and that's not good. But, you know, I always think, well, that's better than all the sugar. Well, it is better, but what's even better than that is water. So I've started back on my water. No, nothing but water and milk. That's because I'll drink milk in the morning when I have breakfast. And so I'm having to do it all over again. She actually told me to increase my medication I'm taking, to double it. Take one in the morning and one at night. She doesn't believe that's going to be enough to get it down. But I'm going to try that for a little while to see what that does. And if my A1C does not go down in 3 months, then we'll try other things. You know, we're going to do that along with diet. I've got to get back serious on what I eat. I don't call it a diet. Just in general, what you eat is a diet. I am looking at some mail order foods. I have one coming in tomorrow that I'm going to try. It's not necessarily a prepared food kit or something like that. It's not like your Factor or your HelloFresh. But they do show you like recipes, and if you want to order the things, it's like a grocery, or it's Hungry Root. Some of y'all may know about Hungry Root. But what they do is they give you menu ideas, and you can either go with theirs or you can change it up a little bit, like a menu idea. I don't eat a lot of, you know, I don't eat things like lamb. I don't eat things like that. I don't know why. It's a mind thing for sure. But I'll eat hamburger. I'll eat steaks. I'll eat shrimp. I don't eat salmon. I probably should, but I've only had salmon one way that I really, really liked, and it was candied, and that was on the cruise ship. So, yeah. I can't have that. But that was really good. It just like melted like butter in your mouth. Now, if I could find a salmon that I really liked, I would probably eat it. I do have some in my freezer right now because my husband, he used to eat a lot of it, but now he thinks if he's here that I've got to cook every bite of food that he eats, and that's not going to happen. He's going to starve if he keeps going at that rate. But he got some bad health news yesterday, so I'm the one that is really trying to be spot on with my health, and it's like I told him, you know, we've hit the age where we actively have to be very conscious of what we're eating and what we're doing, and because he needs to have blood sugar done, and I know he hasn't had it, and he don't want to get it done because he'll find out he's a diabetic too. But, you know, I'd rather know so I can set up a plan. That's what I told my doctor this morning. I was like, you know, let's do all the blood work for everything. And then we can figure out what do we need to be working on. Oh, yeah. I've got all of these pressed and trimmed. That took a hot minute. So what we are doing is making 4. I'm looking to see. We do a green and a red. We're just going to start that first. We're going to make a 4 patch with the 3 half square triangles and a solid square. We'll get to that when we get there. This took me a little minute to get it all trimmed up because I couldn't use my trim locks because it's not a full inch or a half inch. And, you know, trim locks are full inch or half inch. because I was looking at it when I was starting. I thought it told me a different size. And I pulled that trim lock out and I laid it on top, and I'm like, well, it's not even big enough for that. So since we are making 4 of these, I'm going to go on and stitch these up like this. Oh, I almost put that one wrong. That would not have been good. I completely forgot where I was at in our little chit-chatting going on. I know I told y'all about the A1C, about my husband having his issues. He's going to have to deal with his own issues on his own. I can't do it for him. He got himself to where he is now. I got myself to where I am now. And we just have to find what works for us. But I was telling y'all, I got the Hungry Root box. I did choose a few meals, and that box will be coming in tomorrow. Today I have a box coming in for my cat. So what I'm going to do is try to get him on just organic, like human grade food. He loves chicken. Like, I'll go buy him a rotisserie chicken just for him, and I will shred that up and put that in the fridge. I make sure it doesn't have garlic or onions in it. No garlic salt, no onion salt or powder. I do not give my cats garlic or onion. Well, it is actually toxic to them. So I try to give him, you know, things that's not going to hurt him, of course. But he loves chicken. Like, one of my downfalls is Popeye's chicken. I love Popeye's chicken. I used to hate fried chicken. I could not stand eating fried chicken. But Popeye's chicken has quickly become a favorite of mine. It's quick, easy on the way home from work. And he can smell that chicken, and he will irritate you until you give him a bite of chicken. Well, I don't give him any of the crust because I don't know what's seasoned in the crust. I like it. And that's probably why my A1C's at an 8.8 right now. But okay, guys, I am going to press these out, and then we're going to sew them together and make four patches. Have all of these done here. So now what we're going to do is put them together. So we're talking about the cat food. The main reason I ordered this is because I know he needs a more organic diet, and when I get this, I can see what their ingredients are and see if I can duplicate some of their recipes. I have found some online. I've cooked food for dogs before. I used to have a Cocker Spaniel that I had to cook his food. And what I would do is, or sometimes it wasn't cooked, he could actually eat most of it raw. And I just have it in a frozen patty, and he loved it. I didn't do that very often, but every now and then when he had some skin issues, I would do that for a week. You know, I would make the recipe up for a week. And he really loved getting his treats like that. He considered that a treat. So friends, now what I'm doing is making my 4-patch. I'm just pinning this seam in the center together because it does nest. I don't want that to move anywhere. And I'm lining up those points there and making sure they're together. But I am so happy to be getting this one done. I'm so happy I got my box yesterday, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just go on and do our flowering. So this is like a flowering Friday. We do have the live tonight with Tammy at the Siberian Wind and Alicia with Quilty Bird Piecing. And that's at 7 p.m. on Tammy's channel, Central Time. It's 7 p.m. my time, Central Time. So if you're in a different time zone. But if you'd like to join us, we would love to see you in the comments. We love chatting with everyone. I don't do lives I don't set up lives because my internet is not very stable. And I don't think it would carry a live that well. I know I can call in and do a live with people, but if I freeze up, it's okay. As long as somebody else is carrying the live there. So now we are down to our last 4-patch. Guys, that pressing took me a while. I didn't pause my camera. And we're at 45 minutes right now. And I know when I edit it down, y'all realize it took me a while to do that. Probably a good 15-20 minutes. Okay, these are done. I am going to trim these apart, then press them, and then we have, what is this called? Petal unit is what the next unit is going to be called. This one here is the plantlet unit. I don't know what that is, but whatever it is, I'll take it. Okay, friends, this is our plantlet unit. So our next one is going to be called the petal unit. We take our C fabric and our G fabric. This is the one you're going to have the diagonals on as well. This one here. And we are going to put one on both corners of our C fabric. So I'm just laying my C down and going to start in the top left corner. This is the top left corner. I just turned mine upside down. So all my fabric is on this side of that needle pretty much. Now what I will do on this one is sew directly on that line from corner to corner. And we will make 4 of these. So that means we'll have 4 of the white pieces of fabric, the C, and 8 pieces of our red fabric, G. Going to see how fast we can get this done. Even though not a race, I am running out of time. I try to only work on each project. I try to give each project an hour. Sometimes these take an hour, sometimes they take an hour and a half. So whatever this one takes is what it will do, but I would rather stay under an hour if possible. I think we're going to go a little over though, which is fine. It is Friday. I'm off work, but I do need to get ready for the live for tonight. Make sure, I don't know if I have any additional fabrics that I need to cut for tonight, and I will do that. But I have to go get a bite to eat for lunch. I don't even know what time it is, but I know it is afternoon. So now I am going to trim these and press them out because the other one is going to overlap that. So I'll be right back, guys. Now we are going to continue on putting the other square on the other side. And when you have them crisscross like this, you really want that seam to be real flat. So that's why I always trim it and press it. And I don't know why I didn't think about this, but it catches every time I start it. I need to start it from the side and not where there is all that thickness. It goes right on in there when there's not all that thickness in it. But when there's that thickness, it kind of slows it down and doesn't want to go. Okay, guys, I'm going to trim these and press as well and be right back. And then we'll have another block we will start working on. It's going to be called the partial center flower unit. I have these done, and our next step is to add a yellow block to the bottom of our, what is that called? Petal unit. So we are just expanding on the one that we have here, lining it all up at that 1/4 of an inch. Okay, we now have that partial center flower done, and we're going to continue to add on to that. What we'll do is take 2 of each of these. Well, no, we're taking 1. We're not taking 2. We're taking 1 because we only have 1 fabric left, and we will add it right here on this first one here. I'm sure they're assembling the other 2 as the bottom of the flower, the bottom and the top. And they're just going to come together on this center piece right here. So now we take our other piece and add it on and make one long center flower unit. Now, I do need to press this, so I will be right back, guys. Okay, friends, we have our center flower unit, and then our 2 partial center units. So now we are going to start assembling, is what I'm guessing. I'm going to do mine in rows, so that will take one of these, and then one of these to, well, 2 of these, and one of these to make a up and down row. So let's get started. We have this one here, and these actually do not nest, which is, for me, good. So it just kind of makes it easier when you don't have all seams matching, you know, in a pattern. Just making sure everything is lined up. Okay, so that's our first row. That long piece is our second row. And I'm going to make this my 3rd row. It's going to go this direction. So that means I have to sew this direction. So I am starting out with a seam at the top because I don't want to put my small piece on the bottom. Okay, that started pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is take these apart and add that 3rd 4 patch to it to make a full row. I'm not pressing it. I'm just going to look at what I have here and add it. So I don't need this one. I need to go on and get this one here. And I'm going to be talking to myself, guys. Y'all know, I talk to myself. No, I do not need to be committed, I promise. Okay, guys, I'm going to go on and press these so we can attach these together with that center flower row. Alrighty, so we have our left and right sides of our flower. So now we just need to put this piece in the center of the two. I don't know if I think that center piece is probably going to nest. I think it does. I'm going to go on and nest it, but the rest does not. So friends, we have been, with all the pressing and everything that I have done, we have been at this like an hour and 5-10 minutes. So not a bad block. And the thing that took the most time was trimming those half square triangles, which is highly suggested you do. Don't skip that part. I accidentally skipped that part on something I'm doing, and the spooky box, the pumpkin sitting. And yeah, it turned out, well, the first block turned out not so great. But all the other ones, once I realized that I did not trim that, I went back and trimmed them all. I guess I need to start checking to make sure everything has been trimmed, because I was doing a big sewing day of doing nothing but trimming lots of half square triangles, and I'm guessing it wasn't that quilt that it was on. Okay, so we have the first side on there. So now we're about to put the second side on it. Going to go on and nest that right there in the center. Guys, I tried finding some other colors maybe in my stash that would have worked on this, and I just didn't find anything that I thought would look good, because I looked at the picture of how this was put together and I'm like, these are the colors I have to use. And because I really like the colors they're using. So I just went with what I used last month. And I think it works really well. And friends, are y'all already making plans for Christmas? It was so funny last night. My two daughters called me. They called each other, and then they called, conferenced me into their call, a three-way call, and asking about Christmas. Well, my daughter-in-law has to work on the weekends, so she can't take off if we do it on the weekend, and that's what we're trying to do, is on the weekend, so no one has to take off of work, but then she'd have to take off work. But if we do it on the weekend, like my sister and everybody is available. And I hate doing that. I'm at a standstill on that. It's a dilemma for me. Okay. So we're planning Christmas, but have no clue how it's going to roll. I'm going to press these, and then we will be right back to see the finished block. Alrighty, friends. Here is our finished block. That is beautiful. I'm loving it. So this is What's Up, Buttercup. And this is the block number 7 for the 2025, I guess, Quilt-along. It is Fat Quarter Shop's Flowering Quilt-along that comes in their sew samplers. If you are interested in receiving one of those boxes and you don't know anything about Fat Quarter Shop, I will have their link down in the description for you. Feel free to check out or roam any of the other links down in my description. I am an Amazon affiliate, and anytime you go through one of my links and purchase something, it don't have to be the link that you go through. I do receive a small commission, and that does help my channel out, and you get what you need for no extra cost. So friends, this is the completion of the number 7 block. So now to wait for number 8 block. I hope you have enjoyed this. Please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not yet. Become part of our family of all this crazy chaos and sewing that we do. And lots of chit-chatting. I do chit-chat with you guys a lot. Even though we have never met in person, you probably know more about me than most people that I see every day. And feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye, guys.